So, hello and welcome to Up the Villa Pint. It's our first ever episode with all four of us involved on the same screen. So, I'm delighted to have all of the lads on tonight. And we're going to be just discussing a few different issues that what we've thought about and thought that you'd want to hear about. So, let's get it started. So, Justin, what are your thoughts on the Liverpool game? Because obviously, we didn't hear your thoughts from that game.
Yeah, basically, I've had a few more days to calm down. You lot all reacted straight away from it, and it was fantastic. You know, the euphoria you all showed was just what all fans want, isn't it? We all want to be over the moon. We all want them kind of results. So, you know, it's an amazing result. But my biggest sort of reaction, having calmed down a bit, is relief. You know, we've had 10 years of just terrible times, and I've spent the last 10 years, like you have, Luke, trying to find the positive out of every negative situation we've been through. So to get to the point where we're smashing Liverpool 7-2, you know, it's a relief now that we've got a team like that we can all be proud of, and it's going to be fantastic. You know, the future is so bright for us now, and that's the biggest thing that's come out of it for me. I've got my Villa back, we've got our team back, we've got a team we can all be so proud of. I'm over the moon. You know, it took a long time to get here. A lot of managers, a lot of owners, a lot of players have come and gone. A lot of bad times, poor results. But I feel now we're at the starting point now, and this is where we're going to take off from. So I'm
Definitely.
chuffed, absolutely.
Brilliant, to be fair. Seb, what was it like hammering your mates at school?
Something I've waited years and years for. It was sweet. Some of them didn't even come in the next day. They faked an illness, but no, I enjoyed it. It's been a good week.
Yeah, it was good for me at work, to be fair, because obviously I cut a lot of like guys' hair, and like I do a lot of Liverpool fans, and it's nice just to get one over on them as well and take that moral high ground. So Grealish obviously started for England yesterday. We all know what he can do, and he showed it on that stage yesterday. So, Ryan, what were your thoughts about Grealish's performance yesterday?
Well, if Grealish didn't play, he was turning it off, wasn't you?
Yeah.
Because there was no creativity, no excitement without him in it. I thought he had a tough job to do because we played five at the back because the wing-backs weren't getting forward. We played two holding midfielders, so he was having to create everything on his own. Grabs himself an assist, wins a foul for the free kick that led to Cody's goal, and then Mings with an assist as well. It's all about the Villa, isn't it?
It was a dream, wasn't it? All them.
Yeah, but I just don't see his problem with Grealish. I feel like there's an anxiety from Southgate around him. You know, Southgate he's coming across a bit of a bore, a bit of a stiff. Always remember there was a Villa. We released a VHS. I think it was around the time of the League Cup final in '96, and it's still doing the rounds now. Where they asked McGrath what he likes to drink after a game, and he goes, "Oh, I like a couple of Guinness." And they asked Southgate, and he said, "Oh, a glass of Coke." And that to me now is just telling me about the guy, and he's scared to unleash Jack and use him. So.
I agree. What are your thoughts on it, Justin?
I agree. I think he was forced into bringing him into the last squad because of injuries, and because he had that nice little cameo at the end, and he's had a fantastic start to the season with us. He almost can't leave him out now of the squad, and because he's brought so many players in, and he said he's got these 3 games, you could see what he was trying to do yesterday, playing sort of all the real fringe players and the brand new players coming to the squad. But I think he hung him out to dry a little bit. He sort of put him in there with basically a brand new 11. He stuck him out on the left. I mean, Jack did his best the first 20 minutes to stick in the role I think he was told to play, which just doesn't suit him. Yeah, we all know what Jack is. At the Villa, we build everything around him. At England, he's got to almost earn that again. But it's just very hard as a Villa fan to see everybody's reaction in the whole country, from every single supporter, from every single, team in the country, almost universally, every single newspaper article and online article was how great Jack was. Yet the manager can barely say he played well. Something's wrong there. And until either Southgate sorts his head out and realises what kind of a player Jack is, or he gets the boot, I just fear that Jack's international career is going to be stunted.
Yeah, I think you put in the group chat. Did you hear what Southgate said? And Seb was like, "No, I thought it was okay." And then about half an hour later, he did that other press conference and he just dropped the Mason Mount bomb again, and that was obviously even worse. So it's just like you all say, just frustrating. Like we've saw great other internationals, on their debuts, like praising them, like he praised Cody on his first appearance, saying how fantastic he played. And I just thought like Grealish literally ran the show last night, and it was just like, yeah, he's all right. And I'm just like, oh, come on, man, he's quality. You saw all the media like this morning and last night saying how good Grealish is, and all these other fans chipping in now saying he's a joy to watch, and it was like everybody woke up last night. So it's just like you all say, it's really frustrating. So during the break, pre-season, I set Seb a bit of a challenge to be on Transfer Watch. So Seb, go on then. What did you make of Villa's window? How would you rate it compared to the other teams, or did we strengthen enough? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think I should firstly say the window isn't over yet, so we can't say for certain whether this is going to be our final squad. There could be quite a few outgoing still, and maybe a incoming. But I think they set out to do what they needed to do. We needed to improve, and we couldn't afford to look over our shoulders behind us and think, "Oh, okay, for another season." And I think they've done that. They've gone out and got Ross Barkley, a full England international. They've got Bertrand Traore, who nearly proved himself at Chelsea, is still probably coming to the Premier League with a point to prove. Martinez, what a character. I mean, everything he's said, every interview he's done, and even the way he's performed has shown us what a top goalkeeper we have. And Matty Cash as well. I mean, all the incoming so far, and Ollie Watkins with his hat trick, have worked so far, and they've still got a whole season to go.
I think we had a great window. Does anyone else want to big up our window?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think we said it the other day. I can't remember it. I'm older than all you lot, so I do go a little bit further back. And the only other window that's comparable, I think we was talking about in the group chat, was the Ron Atkinson one, when he practically brought in a whole 11. But if you go through that list, they're all practically Villa legends. Now you'll look back at them and think, wow, that's a hell of a group of players to bring in. And I've got a feeling that in 10 years' time, we're going to be saying the same thing about this window. I think it's just going to go ballistic. I'm absolutely over the moon with it. We've done it quickly. We've done it astutely. We've gone out and got 5 or 6 players, all top quality, and they've all fitted straight in.
Right. So is anyone still watching the Liverpool highlights?
On repeat.
I think I start the day with it. I end the day with it. And yeah, when I'm at work, I'm just watching it. It's quality. So obviously we all did our little predictions at the start of the season. So I just want everybody's thoughts on this. So far, who do we feel like are the Premier League winners and losers so far? And are your predictions sort of right on relegation mainly, on who you think is going to be down there? So start off with like Justin. Justin's gone.
With me, sorry, yeah.
Are you there?
I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. I said Villa 14th, I think, or 13th. I think I would like to revise that now. I think when we did it, we hadn't sort of signed 2 or 3 players, I think. And look at how it started. I'm not going to revise it by a lot. I think we'll get in the top half.
I thought you were going to say top 4.
No. Yeah. Well, to be honest, I've spoke about this a lot, and I think we all have as a fan base a lot. If that 11 was guaranteed to stay fit the whole season, which is highly unlikely, I know, I genuinely think if they all kept in reasonable form, we could easily push for Europe. That's a massive shout. I understand that. But that's how good that 11 is. The worry, obviously, is if we have injuries. But as far as the other predictions go, I'm pretty happy really with everyone. I said, I think West Ham have started slightly better than I thought because I had them down in the bottom three. But everyone else, I think Fulham and Albion, despite playing okay at times, I think they will drop it in as the two bottom teams.
Seb scratching his head. What do you think, Seb?
I mean, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, the first 3 games of the season, we've looked really, really good and really, really positive. Maybe Europe is probably out of sight this season, whether we were to stay fit or not. But I mean, Justin's known as the optimistic one, so I'll let him have it. If we can get to Europe, then be my guest. But I just want to stay cautious for now because there's still a long way to go and a whole season still to be played, and who knows what could happen. I mean, Norwich had a good start last season, and look what happened to them. And I'm not saying that we're going to do a Norwich, not by any standard, but I think I'm just trying to keep calm for now and not get too overexcited.
I think I'm with Dean Smith, to be fair, when he mentioned that he's happy that we've got this little bit of a break now. I think Grealish said it's come at the wrong time, but I'd go with Smith on this. I think this break now gives us this little bit of time to get them expectations down again so we can all come back more prepared and go again. I think if we were to play this weekend, I don't know, I'd worry that we were going to think we were going to win the league or something. So I think, let's all regroup and then we go again at Leicester. What are you thinking, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm thinking we got the first 2 wins and it just completely took the pressure off us. Now, if we would have only got 1 point or 0 points going into that Liverpool game, we'd have been terrified. But because the pressure's off, we just went and attacked them. And it weren't like the old Villa where we were 2-0 up and, when we went 2-1 down, we just carried on attacking. We just carried on walking through them. And because we've got that backdrop of 6 points, we couldn't we? And we'll go to Leicester and let's just be confident and enjoy it. I think we should just enjoy this as a fan, and what will happen will happen. But at least we've got a bit of a fallback. We're not in that dogfight yet. We've made a great start, and we can just head into these games and enjoy them. I think my predictions for Fulham and the Baggies, I think they're goners at this early stage.
Yeah, I agree.
West Ham have surprised me a little bit, and they've made a good start. And Burnley and Sheffield United, they could end up being down there.
They're the ones though that I'd say would have to start well as well.
Yeah.
They're Sheffield United have lost 4 games now.
Yeah.
They're in big trouble at the minute, and I'd say
I'm sure the bookies paid out on Fulham going down already. I'm sure a couple of bookies have paid out.
But saw that defence and thought they're gone.
I'm sure they have.
That defence is awful. So Dean Smith's anniversary today, Saturday. So Justin, take us on that journey. I know you're a massive advocate of Dean Smith, like most of us. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, what a 2 years it's been, the dream appointments at the time. I know it was a toss-up between him and Thierry Henry. Imagine where we'd be now if he'd have gone the other way. Yeah, Smith, he will, whatever happens from here on in, Dean Smith is and will always be a Villa legend. There's no question about that. Now, whatever he goes on to achieve at the club, what he has done, even in these 2 short years, is nothing sort of miraculous, and he deserves every bit of credit anybody can throw at him. All this rubbish about Bielsa coming up with these and what a genius manager he is. Smith has done everything he has done, but quicker and better. And he gets not half the credit that someone like Bielsa does. It's just ridiculous. The bloke is an absolute... And he's learning on the job. That's the other good thing. He's been at very small clubs at Walsall. He's been at medium-sized, smallish clubs, Brentford, done really well. He's done his time now. He's deserved this chance at the Villa, and it's just happened that he's got his chance at the big time at his club. That is just phenomenal for any fan. If any of us ever had the chance to manage Villa, you imagine that feeling. So he's gone and done what we all would want to do. He's living our dreams, and he's doing it brilliantly. He's done it brilliantly. He hasn't, barring a few dodgy results in that first season when he was acclimatising with somebody else's team. He's smashed it out of the park. I mean, if you'd have said when he took over where we would be now, you probably wouldn't have believed it. If you'd have said 2 years ago, after 3 games, we'd have smashed Liverpool 7-2 at home with an unbelievable starting 11, you'd have just said that's just never going to happen in a million years. And you have to put most of that credit, or be it the owners of, can't be discounted from what's happened to us. Smith is the man that has to put all these things in place. When they go over that line, it is what he has done that makes them play the way they play. So for me, he's up there in the top 2 or 3 managers probably we've ever had now. And I can't thank him enough. I really can't. I think he's brilliant.
I totally agree. I'm agreeing with you. And you made a real good point that I would say one of his best traits is the way he can adapt to certain situations, i.e. lockdown. We were 10 times better. He's not one of these managers, so say like a Steve Bruce, who's just goes into every job and that's what you get with every job he goes to. You get that Steve Bruce as a manager, whereas Smith he's learning. So he's mentoring Terry. He's brought in Craig Shakespeare. He's still got his old boy Richard O'Kelly with him. But again, he's changing all the time. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Smith?
Yeah, I'm loving the man so much, mate. Yeah, we go back to that Leicester game when we lost 4-0. The last time we was actually in a football stadium, and we had Chelsea next. And if we lost that, he could have lost his job. Yeah. I reckon he could have been that close to losing his job. So lockdown come and, he grafted. He worked hard. He worked on a system and a formation that will work to keep us up whilst dealing with the death of his father. And it's no surprise that our system is working well now because this was all put in place during lockdown. All he's done this summer is added the right personnel and the right pieces of the jigsaw to the puzzle. And these players have slotted in perfectly because the system's built, because we've laid foundations.
Yes.
but like you said, Justin, if he was the manager of the Yorkshire Whites, Sky Sports would be creaming themselves over him. It's that cringy how much time that they give. They give the Yorkshire Whites. It's unbelievable. But if that was Dean Smith, he gets us promoted in half a season, gets us up to a cup final. We survive, and now we're second in the league, albeit early days. But he's done a marvellous job, absolutely marvellous job.
I'll drink to that.
Cheers, Dino. Legend.
Cheers, Dino.
What a legend. So one thing I saw a couple of days ago was this petition set up by a fan to get the fans back into the football stadiums. It'd be like one of us starting a petition, and it started to gather a lot of pace. And even Man United retweeted it and are now on board with it. And today we've heard about the box office news, which is just terrible. I mean, it's everything that this podcast is. That this podcast is about. Football's nothing without the fans, giving the fans a voice, doing everything we possibly can for the fans. Yet now we've got a box office where you pay 15 quid a game to watch your team. I think our next 3 games are on box office. So it's 43 quid or something. It's just a disaster. So I just want your thoughts on, going back to some extent. Would you go back? And your thoughts on obviously paying all this money to watch Villa on a box office. So we'll go with Ryan. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think this pay-per-view is disgusting, mate. I think we're living in a recession. People are getting made redundant. We've got Christmas around the corner, and yet you want 15 quid on top of your Sky, on top of your Amazon, on top of your BT to watch the Villa. And just our luck that we get the first 3 games on pay-per-view.
Yeah, but that's because we're good now.
Yeah, as for going back in the stadium, mate, as for going back in the stadium, mate, Villa means everything to me, mate. I'm missing it so bad. And I want to get back down there, mate, match day experience. And I'm lucky I've got a wife and kids that keep me on my toes, but there's people out there who are on their own that live for going down the game. It's what they look forward to a week. And for those guys and girls, it must be killing them. So I think I can't see why you can go to the cinema and watch a Premier League game in the cinema, but we can't get, I don't know, 5,000-6,000 in Villa Park. Even if I had to go there an hour before kickoff and then wait an hour after kickoff before my row could leave the stadium, I'd do it every day of the week. I'd do 2 hours either side.
I mean, it's not even about Villa with this question. You know, I saw on the news about Dover, and it's costing them X amount of thousands of pounds, and they're having to raise money to just stay afloat. And it's worrying for them. Like the communities, like you alluded to, football's not just about sometimes just going to a game. It's what that club can bring to a city, to a town, you know, and the impact of a lot of these clubs folding because of this. It's going to be a real issue further down the line. What are your thoughts on it all then, Seb?
Yeah, I think Ryan made very good points. It's a community down the football, isn't it? You make friends, you meet people. I mean, I've always been to the games with my dad, and that's how we bond. That's almost how we connect over the Villa. We go down the games, we watch the games, we analyse it afterwards, and that's what brings us closer together. And not having that, I think, is really hard for everyone, whatever age you are. And taking a look down the lower leagues, I mean, they're all in trouble, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're all in trouble all over the EFL. And the fact that the football community has been so hung out to dry, I think, is a complete shambles. I think along with the football, the artist industry as well, I think these two have just been completely neglected. And it's sad to see, because we've seen it with clubs like Bury, where just communities are torn apart, and suddenly you have nothing to go to, nothing to live for, almost, for some people. You know, Villa and their football clubs are some people's lives, and it's only what some people have
But I think like the 15 quid thing is like
in their lives. And
Sky in the Premier
it's
League
awful.
are getting like the 15 whatever quid per game, like off one fan. Multiply that by, I don't know how many fans would probably pay that. But then there's teams like Dover that are going to virtually be extinct. How does this make sense to them?
Yeah, it's how you monetize it, doesn't it? You know, this money should filter down the divisions. It's not just about the Premier League. The Premier League has spent 1.2 billion on players this window, and there's clubs fighting to stay afloat. You know, we should be sharing the wealth. It should be passed down the leagues, 100%.
Definitely. Justin?
Completely agree.
This is one of the bugbears I've had for a very, very long time with football, is the finance in football and the money that's in football, and the discrepancy between the top division almost and everybody else has always been so far out of kilter in this country. It's embarrassing. I mean, when you look at the Arsenal thing the other day, when they let the club mascot, who probably been doing that job for 15, 16 years, who lives to go and do that job, they let him go, make him redundant. On the same day, they spend £45 million on a midfielder and paying him £200,000 a week. That's not right, and it's something that I hate in the game. When we got relegated, I was almost happy to leave the Premier League because of the way it was going with the money. Now, that doesn't mean I don't love Villa, and I don't want Villa to be in the Premier League, and I don't want us to be successful. What it means is I want a football system in this country that's fair for everybody. That's what I want, and it will never happen now because there's too much at the top end, too much money being made at the top end for that to ever change. So this happening now possibly could highlight that even more. So it possibly, and it's a very big if, it might, when clubs do start going bankrupt and do start going out of business, possibly things might change. I don't think they will, because as long as the money's going in at the top end and everybody's happy at the top end, then generally speaking, everybody at the bottom has to just scrap for everything they can. And it's sad, very sad for me. I just, as an older fan, you know, I remember the days in the past when the money wasn't that important in football. You just every season you'd start a season, you're not knowing where you're going to finish. Now, if you've got the money, you can finish high up. If you haven't, you're an also ran, and it's a shame.
It is.
But that's modern football, isn't it?
But also for them fans as well, them fans in the lower league as well, they must like watching Premier League football as well. See, if these games was a fiver, you might think, and the money was filtering down, you might think, Villa and Leicester, they've had a good start. That'll be a good game. I'll pay a fiver to watch that, knowing that the money will filter down through the leagues, and you'd be happy to pay it. And also, there
should have been a happy medium. It should have been a happy medium. Like you're dead right there. £5, £7, everyone would have paid it. £15, it's just exploiting.
I mean, I don't have Sky Sports at home, and I've been watching Villa on Now TV. Now, I've been paying $9.99 per Villa game since lockdown. So I've been paying a tenner basically. And I get the day full of sport, but I'd get the Villa game as well. And I've been okay with a tenner. Now, £15, it's next level, isn't it? I'm going to be like £43 by the end of it.
That's for one game. You're not getting the whole day.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So with the Now TV, I was getting a whole day. I could have, if it was a Sunday, I was getting F1. I was getting the Villa. I'd get every game that was on Super Sunday or whatever it's called, and it was brilliant. But now it's like £15. I think most of us are season ticket holders here. So when we've had our money back this season, we've had £30 per ticket. Right, so we had 6 tickets at £30 a ticket. Well, I was, because I was in the Holt End. So basically, I'm paying half to watch one Villa game on Sky. You know what I mean? Like half price ticket.
It's
not fair. It's not right. It's not right. And the other thing, don't you think it's going to encourage people to buy the game and a load of their mates will go around their houses to watch it?
Well, yeah. It's
because
just going to
if
have
you
the
got
adverse effect.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just mad. I
Right.
don't get it.
We'll end this on a bit of a higher note now then. So Seb's asked for a load of questions for the viewers that watch Up the Villa podcast. So we've selected a few. So Seb's got the questions to fire away at will on whoever you want to answer the question.
Right, the power's in my hands now. Right, okay. So I think we'll start it off with a bit of a positive note. And this one's for you, Justin. It's short and simple from Noel Breslin 1. Could Villa do a Leicester?
My head says no, but my heart says never rule it out.
Of course it does.
Why not? Why not?
Okay. So Ryan, staying on a similar theme, are we getting top 10 or even Europe this season?
I'm feeling top 10 now after seeing what we've done. And who knows? We go on a good run. Top 7 could be perfectly achievable. You just never know, do you? Especially with this season, the way this season's going.
I've just said we could win the league, so it's top 7.
I think the coldness is getting to your head, Justin. Right,
coldness,
okay.
Yeah.
Let's switch it up a bit. Luke, is there a better player in the Premier League right now than Jack Grealish? And how good could he be this season with the added quality around him?
I think I'd say he probably, at this moment in time, I think he's probably one of the top 3 players in the Premier League. I think he loves De Bruyne, so I'd say he's getting towards that type of level of player. I think we've watched him week in, week out get better and better. We saw last night he stepped it up to the international stage and he looked the best player on the pitch. So yeah, I think in the next few years he probably will be the best player in the league. Definitely.
Yeah, certainly. This isn't one for either of you specifically, and this is the last one that I have. So whoever feels as though they'd like to answer this, just go ahead. When we got relegated, it felt like the whole world hated us. Has that carried on since we came up? And if so, why?
Ooh, that's a good question, isn't it? I don't know. I'll quickly start with that one then. I don't think everybody hated us. I think we sort of had that perception of us from the inside looking out, because we'd been that poor for that long that we'd almost become a laughing stock. I think that was the perception of Villa. This is why I'll go back to what I said earlier about being relieved. We've gone from such heights to being a total disgusting disgrace of a club because of the way it was run, that when we dropped, we were almost forgotten about as a team. So where we are now is regaining that credibility and back, hopefully, where we was years ago, where I'll remember us as a club, where we all know as fans of the club, where we can easily, comfortably be in the top 6 or 7 clubs in this country.
Yeah, I
start reminding everybody again that we're Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I do. I mean, me and Justin, we said it, didn't we, on an episode that, a lot of people dislike Villa because of our history and our success that we have had. And it goes down to, if you talk to any other fan or any fan from this area or in the Midlands, they all hate Jack Grealish. They don't. Why do they hate him? Because they just don't like him because he plays for Villa. And
he's good.
He just goes down, he dives, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he never gets a yellow card for diving. But until you understand the club and understand the player and how, and stuff like that, it's just all made up stuff, in my opinion. So I think it's been great having you all on. It's been brilliant to hear you all on the same episode today. So we're definitely going to do more of these. For me, I just want to say thanks to the 3 of you for helping me grow Up the Villa podcast and being a crucial, integral part of this podcast. I could not do this if it wasn't for the 3 of you. So I just want to say thanks for doing what you're doing. And yeah, Up the Villa.
No, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks everyone. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.